defending predatory men will never work out well for you because it'll follow you into death. Imagine being nominated for 4 Academy Awards, winning 1, being an icon, having a long career in Hollywood, being adored by so many people. And this is what they remember. Not only that you dated him, but you defended him until the end. That's what you chose to do. And imagine, after you're dead, this man who nobody, he's lost so much credibility since his daughter penned that essay and his son sided with her and they've been speaking out. A lot of people most people don't want to work with him anymore, right? And imagine you die and this man is trying to rebrand by being like, I lost my friend, she's a mess ever. They will use you and your reputation even in your death because men hide behind the women who vouch for them. Men get to do what they're doing because of the women who vouch for them. And I don't doubt that she believed this man, but it will never serve you to believe men who, when you look at his history, it's like, dude, girl, what is wrong with you? But to also publicly defend this man. I adore her. But you know what? The thing is that she is actually like so many women. In fact, one woman, now a lot of people in the US may not keep up with this story. I'm in France, so I do. Giselle Pellicot, right? She became this icon, this feminine. Do not make any woman an icon, like any survivors, because we are not perfect victims. Because this woman, who I so much respect for what she did. Made, the shame change aside, brings her husband, takes her husband down and all those men, the 50-something men in that courtroom who raped her, and there were so many more that did and got away with it. Respect her so much for her doing that. Still mad at her for doing this, right? Imagine the man who did that to you. You believe him over your daughter and your daughter-in-law and your grandchildren. This man harmed so many people. I'm going to do a whole video on this, by the way. This is why this conversation is so important. Every woman I know who's a survivor, especially of violence from their from their family member or violence in general, any kind of abuse, but especially their mothers, stepmothers, grandmothers, aunts, sisters, whoever. So many of the women that they love don't believe them. The same way so many women will stand by a man who's done horrific things to his ex or someone at work or whatever. And it's so frustrating, but this is what happens. And it sucks. It sucks that you can love a woman so much or respect a woman so much, whether you know her or she's a public figure or whatever, and then also be angry at her choices to side with men because of her own pick-meism, because we're all on the pick-me spectrum. Even if you don't date men, you could totally believe your dad or some other man or whatever. This is so deep, y'all. Imagine publicly saying that he's my friend. He's my friend, though. I owe my whole career to this man, even though his own daughter came out with these horrific allegations. His son and her brother, but his son also wants nothing to. Their mom also, and that dude also married his adopted daughter. Has a history of just really liking 17-year-olds. He was only 20, but first wife. 17, writes a whole movie based on a romantic relationship with an actress that he started a relationship with when she was 17. Makes a whole movie called Manhattan that glorifies older men dating teenagers because that's what he likes. By the way, he met her when she was 16. Imagine choosing to back this guy over his own family who were like, no. And I'm sorry, I don't care if you raised her or not. This is so disgusting. And this didn't end his career. Nothing did until his daughter, after Me Too hit Hollywood. Mind you, Tarana Burke is the founder of the Me Too movement. But when this movement hit Hollywood, the ripple effect around the world was massive. And then we had a big old backlash too. By the way, her conversations that she is having around this and what believe women means are very important, especially for white women to pay attention to and learn from. But imagine this man profiting off of your legacy because you chose to be friends with him still. Like it's only been a couple days and he's already written something. The thing he wrote is behind a paywall and I will not pay to read anything this man writes. But The Guardian summarized it. He wrote all this crap. Like, of course he did. And I've even seen multiple headlines where like, Woody Allen's not okay. He's so distraught. Oh, poor baby. He's sad. Because he doesn't have Diane to come out here and literally mention him regularly about what a great friend he is. Now that she's dead, he's got one last time to be like, this bitch vouched for me. Come on, let me work again. He only cared about what Keaton had to say. You would think this was like, he was married to this woman. No, he's married to the child he raised. Right? By the way, I was asked if I wanted to write for a major publication the obituary for this man. Because they write the obituaries for them before they die. This was like 4 years ago I was asked to write this. They're going to pay me decent money. And I was like, let me think about it. And they're like, well, we know you're a survivor of this too. And perhaps you would write a more nuanced obituary, whatever. And I thought about it. And then I was like, no, I can't. I do not want to write anything about this man. Anything that I write about him would be so full of anger, you could not publish it in an obituary. So I turned the money down because that's what you do when you don't want to enable men who have allegedly done terrible things. You don't make money off of validating them. So I'm sure someone else will write his obituary that we will eventually see, but it ain't gonna be me. Now, this was back in 2018, right? She rode hard for him here. And at the time, don't you remember? A lot of people were like, "Ooh, okay, he's finally getting has his moment." And like Timothy Chalamet, remember he donated his salary from the movie he did with Woody Allen. Was like, I don't want anything to do with this. Colin Firth vowed to never appear in another one of his films. People were just like, Not everybody. Back to that in a second. Diane was like, he's my friend. He's my friend. I believe my friend, right? Well, Woody wrote a whole memoir in 2020 describing her as his North Star. Like these two were like besties. And then went on to say, and again, this was not very long ago, y'all. She was like, my God, you know how much I owe everything to him? He was so amazing. It always was really special to be with Woody. He was great. He was everything, and he remains so to me. He gave me everything. He really did. Woody made it loose. That helped me all this just 2 years ago, y'all. Does that mean she's a terrible person? No. This means she is such a classic example of what, especially women in her generation, but a lot of women do. This is so common. This is not an outlier. This is what women do. This is why we have to unfork our brains, y'all. Either this is just, internalized patriarchy, right? Which is always there. A lot of times this is survivors of their own thing from childhood or from something else will then end up being the number one defender of predators, right? I say this as somebody who really tended to trust the most predatory men until I understood my own history. And I believed that they were good people. And so, of course, by me believing them, I endangered other women. So I say this as this is so common. This is so common. I want you to think right now, is there any person in your life who you later found out had allegations against them from someone else, but you're like, no, that crazy bitch. I'm not saying that it's all women all the time are telling the truth. The general spirit of believe women is that we have not been believed. But there is a caveat to that. I've talked about this before. There's also a racial component to that has a long history in the United States of white women and false allegations to advance white supremacy. That's another video. But I'm telling you, this is so common. This is why she is the perfect. That's why I talk about celebrities so much, y'all. It's not about them. It is about what part of us do we see in them. Even if we can't relate to the money, the riches, the fame, and all that stuff, they represent so much of what happens in the world. But it's not just her. I wonder if when Scarlett Johansson dies, if the number one headline will be about her defending Woody. Wouldn't that be sad? That's the way it is, though. And of course, her. Like, one of the many things that Blake Lively has done that were insane, besides getting married on a plantation, was, talking about how empowering it was to work with him. This is after. After all the allegations, again. Like, lots of actresses will put their legacy on the line and either play dumb or, which this is interesting. I never heard this before. Kristen Stewart was questioning working with him, and then Jesse Eisenberg was like, convinced her to anyway, okay. Never heard that before. Selena, I already worried about you marrying down, but, I mean, very cowardly approach to him when these allegations came out. But, honestly, Scarlett's the worst, though. How do I feel about... This was 2019. How do I feel about Woody Allen? I love Woody. I believe him, and I would work with him anytime. Okay. She's still got a career, though. So if we're gonna cancel dead Diane Keaton, we got to cancel all these people, right? And this is what I'm saying. It's not about canceling. It's just like, this is what women do. And you make a fool of yourself when you do this. You lose my respect and survivors' respect, a lot of people's respect. And it doesn't end well. This man may have made your career and put you in all kinds of movies. And I know Hollywood is, I worked in the film industry for many years. I know the industry. A lot of my friends are still in it. Like, I know. But please don't vouch for men. Please do not vouch for men. Please don't vouch for men. Because just because they didn't hurt you doesn't make them innocent, okay? They usually don't hurt everybody. They don't even hurt 2% of the people usually that they encounter. It's a few people, or even just one, right? Oh, it didn't hurt me. God. I will say this, at least Kate Winslet was like, I don't know, blah, blah, blah in the beginning, right? And then in 2020, corrected her mistake, right? You can always correct. People may not forgive you. You can always say, I was wrong about this. Never mind. Because the way she went back and said, you know what? It's like, what the fuck was I doing working with Woody Allen and Roman Polanski? It's unbelievable to me how these men were held in such high regard so widely in the film industry and for as long as they were. It's fucking disgraceful. And I have to take responsibility for the fact that I worked with them both. I can't turn back the clock. I'm grappling with the regrets, but what do we have if we aren't able to just fucking be truthful about all of it? Okay? So this is one approach. As far as I know, unless I am missing something, Diane never did that. It seems as she believed him till the day she died. And I believe that she thought he was innocent. Absolutely believe that. That's the problem. That she believed him and she publicly believed him and vouched for him. That's the only reason why, like, the women who vouch for these men are the only reason why these men have any legitimacy. Men hide behind women. They even hide behind dead women. It never works in your favor. Don't do it. Don't do it. They would not, they all hide behind wives, girlfriends, daughters, female friends, coworkers. They always have. And by the way, I am looking so lovely today because I had my interview for nationality and I am awaiting the final results, but it went pretty good. I got all fancy. I have a lot more to say about Diane, especially because she had an eating disorder, which I've had. Let me know if you want another Diane video. I'd love to make another one. I know if people are interested. There's so many videos I want to make. It's hard for me to choose every day. Anyway, if you want more personal stories, they're all on Patreon. More of my personal life, travel content, even my nationality process. That's all over there. Like, comment, share. Hit the what is it? Boost or something. There's a button you can boost this video if you like. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching to the end. Let me know if you heard the comment song. By the way, I'm starting to put comment songs in their own little video later on because some people like the ones that people love, just so you can listen to it on repeat. My little jingle. Et voila. Right, Mose? He's had a hard day being a therapy dog because I was very stressed. I feel better now though. Imagine being this cool, Diane, dating the young Godfather and wearing cool hats and weird outfits and having lots of cool stuff like Oscars and somehow outliving this guy. Imagine a woman, Diane. Imagine a cool woman like this who was weird and fearless and didn't give any fucks. Imagine a woman, hey, who wore outfits like this, including baggy socks and Mickey Mouse ears. All of that to be humiliated in death by this douche. Imagine a woman, apologizing for this sick fuck, and then he gets to rebrand and hide behind your dead body. Imagine looking for a man who dates his adopted daughter and does other stuff to his own daughter. But you know what? Rowan's gonna get you. He's getting everybody go Rowan. Imagine a woman, hey, being okay with this. But then there's a lot of them. Kate, hey, Scarlett, you too. Hey now, you questionable judgment. Selena, you too. Come on. There's so many of you. You too, Kristen, and of course Blake. Well, you got married on a plantation. What do we expect? Imagining your death. These are the photos going around about your legacy. Because even though you did so much cool stuff and we love you, you still remembered for this bad choice. And Baby Boom. I love that movie. Bye!